have a chair report? Sorry. Yes, we can begin to record the meeting. Here we go. Got a call to order. We have a quorum. I don't have a chair report. We're going to go right to committee member communications. Anybody on this board have something they want to share? Adolph, nobody? We don't see Kermit yet. If Kermit has something interesting, of course, I'll always allow him to go. Adolph, are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Seeing none there, we will move on to the ex officio reports. Friends of the Fiscalini Ranch, Miss Conley.
Thanks, Steve. Good morning. I just have a few things to report. We had a pop-up on Earth Day down off the ranch with Green Space and the Cambria Forest Committee, and it was really nice to be able. It was really nice to see people and to get together. We all met people who we'd never met. My board members were meeting each other in person for the first time. Lots of very happy ranch users and very happy, even happier dogs in some cases. We do have trail counters that we're going to put out on the ranch that will count the number of people entering and exiting at some of the major entrances, so we can have some idea of how many people use the ranch, because we really have no idea the number of people who are on the ranch ever. Docent programs are continuing, including one this Friday, a stargazing event. All our programs are advertised on our website, on Facebook, on Nextdoor, and in flyers in our window in case you happen to be at Sandy's and want to find out what's going on. We have all our materials on hand to construct the nursery near Carlos's office. Thank you again for your kindness there, your generosity. But my construction leads are all on vacation, so the materials are sitting there and waiting for Brian and Michael to get back from vacation. Volunteers got together and moved some trees, some redbud trees at the dog park that were in the way of the chipping trucks. So we moved them back. Last time I checked on them, even though they've been in the ground a year, 15-gallon trees, they seem to be doing well. They were leafing out, most of them. One of them looks like it was still dormant, but the others were doing remarkably well, possibly in part because we got those nice little rains in April. We're planning a volunteer appreciation event on May 18th. Here at the office. So if you are a volunteer and you haven't RSVP'd, please RSVP. Volunteers put in a minimum of 645 hours in April, but the call for hours hasn't gone out yet, so I expect that number to go up. So it'd be FFRP volunteers volunteering on behalf of the ranch and its preservation. That's my report.
Great. Thank you, Kitty. Does anybody have any questions for Kitty? All right. Seeing none. Thank you very much. All right. That takes us to Skate Cambria. Ms. Amadei, do you have any update for us?
Good morning. Lots of exciting news to bring you from Skate Cambria. I want to back up just a little in regards to our communication and relationships with other parks around our area. We have participated in what we call Monster Skate, and we were out there in Los Osos on April 9th with their event. Fantastic exposure for us. It's always exciting when people walk up to our booth and already know about Skate Cambria. We have another event coming up. It's actually the closeout event for Monster Skate, and it's on May 21st. It will be one of the larger events, and it's at, of course, the City of San Luis Obispo skate park. So we will be there for community awareness on the infrastructure project, and of course also handing out our flyers for our brick campaign, which brings us to where we are. We're at $419,000 as of this morning. The brick campaign was launched a couple weeks ago. It's doing very well. We also have 3 permanent plaque placements that have been purchased. So those 3 plaque placements are taken. There's several more that we can sell. But again, the brick campaign is in full swing and doing really well. We are launching our Kickstarter campaign electronically in 2 weeks. Kickstarter, if you don't know what that is, it's very similar to GoFundMe, but it's on a different boost. And so we're hoping that that electronic campaign going out will just generate some new interest to help us with the funding gap. And then also our kids are almost out of school, and that's really a key element for us because we've been missing them at our Friday rallies. They have a combination of commitments, of course, with academics and athletics. Our baseball season is ending. We're so proud of our Broncos on all the teams, but we would love, of course, our community to see our kids out there rallying for support of the park. So school is coming to an end. All of them, many of them, I should say, have jobs as well. So Friday commitments are hard, but we want to get them out there rallying. You're welcome to join us any Friday, 3 to 4 at the location to keep momentum going. In addition, we got the memorandum of understanding signed by CCSD with the Lions Club. That's a 5-year commitment, $1,000 a year for 5 years to help with future operation and maintenance of the park. So that kind of brings you up to speed. Other than thank you, Pal Peralta. They put together 3 incredible skate videos. Those went out on their platforms, and the 3 videos, one of them hit 5,000 followers. So it's just traction, and it's traction out there in the media world for people to become aware of this infrastructure and that it's happening and rolling in the right direction. So thank you for your support. Think about buying a brick. Everything's available on the website, and so is the skate day video that was done as a result of the event. Joyce?
Yeah, I have a question. What is the new campaign? I missed that part.
No problem. It is the brick campaign. So we're
Not
selling
that. Something about technology.
Kickstarter. It's called Kickstarter.
Oh, Kickstarted? Okay.
Kickstarter. Yep. Thank you, Joyce. Yep.
Yeah.
So be looking for Kickstarter. That link will drop into everything we can get it into, from Facebook to Instagram, and of course on our website.
I
So
still really don't understand what that is, but I guess I don't have to.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
Joyce, I don't either. It's on a different boost. That's what she
Kickstarter-
said, a different boost. I didn't
Yeah.
even know what that meant. I was like,
Yeah,
all
I
right, I'll
have
just
no
let that
idea-
go
I
right
have
over
no
my
idea
head.
what you're talking about.
That's okay. Kickstarter is like GoFundMe. Have you heard of GoFundMe, Joyce?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that. Okay.
But Kickstarter is a little bit different in the sense that it's just a different attraction of how that goes out. GoFundMe tends to have certain types of causes, and Kickstarter is more business geared and artist geared and music geared. So it's a little bit different demographic that's looking at Kickstarter than maybe GoFundMe.
Thank you. That really helps.
You're welcome. Thanks for the support, guys. Any
Right
other
on.
questions? Bye,
Super.
Brick.
Julie, right on. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, that takes us into public comment. I see Mr. Calderon or Mr. Farmer. Do either of you have something you'd like to say in regards to something not on the menu? Okay, seeing none, no hands. Here we go. Right on. We're going to move into Facilities and Resource Manager. Carlos, do you have an update for us?
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's good to see you all. Yeah, I got a couple of updates on a couple of items that I shared with you last month. And I'll try to keep my little presentation short here for this month. I'll share a couple of screens. Let's see, here we go. Hopefully you can see that. So just going back to something that Jim had mentioned earlier before the meeting, was that I reported that we had a car accident on the Fiscalini Ranch. And you can see from the pictures that I showed last month, we had a vehicle that unfortunately went off the road of Highway 1 and ran into that footbridge on the east part of the ranch there. We placed signs to advise users that the trail was closed. But as I had suspected, there's quite a few people that walk that trail almost on a daily basis to get to and fro. And so we had people trying to climb over, underneath, around, which made it kind of a hazardous situation there. So We were fortunate enough that that same week, we were able to get the materials to replace the bridge. And so you see the pictures here, the facilities and resources team, just putting in some hard days there, setting up the bridge, and we were able to reopen it that same week. So the accident happened on Monday morning, and by Friday midday, we were able to get that bridge back in place. We're also continuing to see tree mortality on the Fiscalini Ranch. So at this point, we have now been, for the last 2 months, doing about 2 tree work days out there with tree crews. And this is on the Fiscalini Ranch. And whenever possible, as you can see in the picture on the left-hand side, we have a fairly large Monterey pine tree that died. A lot of branches that keep breaking off and falling on the trail, which is right next to it. But whenever possible, we're able to, we'd like to provide some habitat for woodpeckers and other birds, is what you see on the right-hand side there, providing that nice habitat. We're also starting our fire breaks weed abatement program. So we have miles of fire breaks that we do every year, along with a couple hundred CSD open space lots that need to be weed abated. So you see our team out there doing fire breaks already. We like to start those earlier than when the fire department declares weed abatement season. So we have already started these fire breaks. And you can see here from some aerial pictures the extent of those fire breaks. We do about 150 feet of fire breaks throughout the Fiscalini Ranch. These are just the beginning of the fire breaks on the open fields. We're also having a crew do weed abatement or fire breaks through the forest. Those are all hand done to be able to keep as much of the understory plants that we possibly can out there. You know, one of the interesting things that has been a topic of discussion doing weed abatement and fire breaks is that we're required just to do them once and then we're done. But what happens often is you end up doing weed abatement on your lot or on fields, and within about a month or so, you start to see regrowth. And then, you know, by the time fire season is in full swing, sometimes you have, you know, fairly good regrowth on those lots. So one of the things that we like to do is not just do fire breaks just once in these areas. These are over on Huntington and Windsor, and we recognize that you know, because we're doing them early, we're having to do it again. But that is mainly due to the fact that we want to be as fire safe as possible. And so you'll see us do that extra work to redo these specific fire breaks at least twice a year. One of the items that I just wanted to update the commission on is a homeless encampment cleanup that we conducted on the Pocket Park on Center Street recently last month. So here are some pictures. We had some items. If you drove by the post office Center Street area and you looked at the Pocket Park, you probably saw some stuff out in the front, some stuff out on the sidewalk. So unfortunately, this was probably one of the largest encampments that we've cleaned up probably in the past 8 months or so. And the reason for that is, even though you drove by and you only saw a couple of things out in the front, we did an inspection on the park a little bit ago, several weeks back, and what I realized is there were some paths going to the back of the property. And after inspecting those paths, we were able to find that there was a lot of stuff, significant stuff being stored on the back of the property and around the property, going towards the post office on the creek embankment. So we were able to get the sheriff department and a contractor out there to assist us with this cleanup. And you can see here the cleanup of that pocket park. All in all, we removed 16 yards of trash from the back of the property. And in probably simpler terms, we ended up hauling away a dump truck load of trash from the property. Along with the trash, we also hauled away about 8 yards of personal items that we are currently storing in our facility. And with that, here's a couple of pictures of our new homeless shelter storage unit. Our board approved last fiscal year for us to be able to have some type of a storage shelter for when we do these cleanups, so that we're able to store these personal items. We're supposed to store them up to 3 months. And so this is a way for us to be able to keep those items out of the weather and not have them be ruined. So that recently was just done last month. And just going quickly, this isn't on CSD property. These are the encampments on Highway 1. As if you drove by Highway 1 a couple of weeks back, you probably saw Caltrans out there with CHP and a contractor doing some cleanup work. This is the stuff that was pulled out from those encampments along the highway. You can see the hazardous stuff that was pulled out as well, along with a lot of debris and trash that was there. And these are the pictures of after the cleanup. They did a great job of cleaning up the area there and removing all that trash and debris. Unfortunately, what my fear was, and I was able to see that I was actually right about it, is as these folks were displaced, they needed a place to go. And so now we have homeless encampments on our properties. This is the first encampment. I was advised of a second encampment this morning on ranch property. And so we are now on our end having to work with these folks and the sheriff department and a crew to start the process of cleaning up these encampments on our own property. Lastly, just wanted to report on an update. Last month, I reported that we had basically all of the lights at the Vetzel on this back wall. They were all out, unfunctioning. We had a contractor out there. You can see on the right-hand side, there are new LED lights on the building. They're fantastic. You can dim them, you can change the color to them. And the nice thing about this is throughout the years, we have been slowly working to upgrade the lights on the exterior of the Vetzel to LED. And happy to say that with these new lights being installed, all of the exterior lights at the Vetzel are now upgraded to LED, which obviously is not only maintenance wise, but also we're saving quite a bit of money in electrical from that. That's my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Just a question.
Go ahead, Adolf.
You're talking about the trees that are dying on the ranch. Is this a result of drought conditions, or is this the just natural lifetime of these trees? And what is the lifetime of these trees, by the way?
Yeah, so I think we're looking probably at about 100 years for these trees. But what we've actually noticed, and I've shared this with Kitty, unfortunately, we're seeing quite a bit of tree mortality out there, and it's not just the Fiscalini Ranch. It's really throughout all of our open space properties that we're seeing, and other areas as well. A lot of it has to do with drought on the ranch. Some of it has to do with just overcrowding of trees, and trees are just fighting for whatever little resources there are out there, and you start to see those clumps of cluster trees start to die as there's not that much resources out there. But we're also seeing tree mortality due to disease as well. As disease passes from one tree to the next, and you start to see a whole row of trees just die off. So it's a combination of several factors.
Yeah, as I walk in our neighborhoods and living in Lamert, I've noticed that several properties have a dead tree or two dead trees or whatever. And of course, the ranch that's near us had I guess that's the conservation something organization that does take care of that area, and they've had quite a mortality rate.
Yeah, like I said, it's an unfortunate thing, and as the drought disease increases, we're going to start to see more of that. But Friends of the Fiscal Union Ranch and CCSD, we've been pretty proactive on trying to do something out on the ranch, and every year we're doing forest health projects to try to improve that. So again, we'll probably do another one this year, and we're also doing almost yearly replanting of trees as well.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
It's these trees, they live basically the same length of time as a human being, between 80 and 100 years. And the last time there was a major fire in Cambria was about 125 years ago. So I think a lot of the older trees are just aging out. So the ones that are most noticeable, the big ones with the flat tops, those are the oldest trees, they're just, it's their time. And because there was a fire, a whole lot of them came in at the same time. So a whole lot of them are going to go at the same time. Plus we have climate change, which has put a lot of unprecedented stress on the forest. So you have, like Carlos is saying, you have diseases coming in, you have overcrowding because there hasn't been fire. We have all sorts of issues. The forest has lots of issues.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Carlos? All right, keep up the good work. Other than that, that's going to take us into the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from April? Jim, having read the minutes, makes a motion to approve. Second by Adolph. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Minutes carry. Perfect. That takes us into regular business. An update on the skate park. Carlos, Ray, I'm super happy to see you're here. If anybody's got something exciting to tell us, please do. Ray, where are we at with this, with our friendly neighborhood county?
Yeah, hi, Steve. Yeah, thanks for giving me opportunity. So the skate park, we are starting to get the conversations together with the people that are involved, relating to mainly for the bathroom issue. So we are talking with the county building department about this, just to get some kind of a negotiation on how to handle the bathroom issue. We've also talked with library staff, the conversation went really well. They are amenable to us, being able to use their bathroom, with concerns. They have some concerns, which I think we could address. There's basic things like custodial issues, water issues, just things like that. The thing though I want to stress, just to help with the expectations, is that it's starting to look like, it's starting to look like that it's not going to solve the complete problem, meaning that although the bathroom could be used there at the library, we might still need to build at least a single stall there. If we can reduce the number of stalls, that would still be good for us, because that would still reduce the cost of building a bathroom there at the skate park, and it would also reduce the footprint too, because those are the two issues. We're also Monty has been working with me on this as well. We're also going to move forward with the plan development for the curb and gutter, and we're also looking to get a scope of work for the geotech requirements for a retaining wall, and of course the the number of parking spots will define how big that retaining wall would be. So we're working through those issues, and we're also going to be engaging the SLO County Building Department on those issues as well. So overall, the conversations have all been positive, and I think we're moving forward with it. So I know that just to answer a question ahead of time about the Vets Hall. The Vets Hall bathroom is a consideration, but as far as the way building code looks at that, is that leaving the site, going across the street, that would be a stretch in their eyes as far as having that fulfill a bathroom issue, even though it would be part of the conversation, because, like, as far as, when, if we were to decide to get an exemption of building a single stall at the skate park site with accessible access, that could still play a part as far as the negotiation is concerned. But as far as having the library plus the Vets Hall meet the requirement of the restroom, they're not considering the Vets Hall as part of that solution. So I just wanted to let everyone know that. I know that it's on everyone's mind, but yeah, if anyone has any questions, I'm also available.
Perfect. Great. Hey, Ray, thanks for showing up and sharing that with us. Information cannot hurt us. All right. Any questions for Ray? Julie, obviously,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Ray, really quick question in regards to the consideration of the bathrooms on Cornwell to be brought into that discussion.
Well, it's the same. It's the same theory, I guess, of this idea of leaving the site to use the bathroom. That was the concern. So
you don't have to cross the street for that. In other words, if you have to cross the street to go to the Vets Hall, but you don't have to cross the street to go to Cornwall. You stay on the same, don't you? Or is there a street?
But it's still, well, I guess, Jim, it's still 0.2 miles away. So it's, I mean, it's the way they see it, it's leaving the site. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Good argument point.
Adolph?
If we have to install a restroom, what's the expected cost?
Well, that's the literal $75,000 question, because I think we can get the costs down to closer to 100,000 if we were to just do a single stall with that. Depending on what we pick for that. It could be, do we do something similar that we're doing for the Fiscalini Ranch, for example? The advantage with this is that there's already going to be some improvements on the site that we're going to be doing. So the extra added costs won't be as much, I don't think. I'm optimistic about that, but it's still going to be, at least $100,000 to do it. But if we can just do a single stall, that's the key. Is if building and planning will go for that, knowing that there's an overflow option at the library, that would be a good compromise.
Ray, a couple of questions, if I could. You can't just slap a single stall on the back of the library?
So,
People like me say stuff like that.
No. It's a good point to bring up, and the main issue with having a bathroom and having it be accessible, meaning like handicap accessible, is whenever you put a handicap accessible bathroom, it has to be closest to the site. Like, it can't be in this case, if we're putting it right up against the library, it's considered, it's not the closest parking spot to the actual skate park. So
Got it.
just like with anything, if we were to build a handicap parking spot, we would put it closest to the site.
Good, great point. Another question is, it's kind of off, is you said that the retaining wall was relative to the number of parking spots. Is that
Yes.
true? And not necessarily to the size of the skate park?
Those are related, and that's what that's going to be one of the big exemptions we're going to ask for too, which we think we can get, because part of it is where our curb and gutter improvements will have street parking available, and even though it's not counted as the number of parking spots, if we were to bring that before the planning commission, we think that's a good negotiation ploy for this. So.
And then that.
Okay. And to answer your question, yes, the size of the retaining, depending on how far into that hillside we need to cut in.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
that's the issue there. So.
Okay. Good. Any other questions? Julie, you got another one?
Yeah, sorry, I've got Ray, so I'm gonna pick his brain while we've got him. So what I'm hearing is we're still flushing through exemptions. I just want those that are listening to hear that this is not an ended conversation. I know you guys are working diligently to try to do what you can with exemptions. And so one of the questions I have to raise, like, how are some of our other state parks, unincorporated and within county city limit, without bathrooms? How are they getting away with that? Because Cayucas is a great example. You have to leave the site to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Julie, that's a great question. And I think your point is well noted. Just because this is where we're at in our conversation doesn't mean it's going to be where it stays. So those are definitely things that we can bring up as we move farther along into the negotiation. The thing about it is, if we were to move forward, say with that idea, is that we would be going against what the building, the code people in the building staff would, in other words, they wouldn't support our claim if we were to do that. They're amenable to having, say, one stall, but they're not. I don't think having no bathroom. Double negative. I think having no bathrooms would even it's possible, but it's not probable.
So one other question, rough idea, Ray, and I know you and I talked on this. You guys have gotten a little bit farther down the line. Rough idea of when we'll have an understanding of that cost estimate with the inclusion of exemptions?
Well, I think because the other thing too that I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it already. We're scoping work for the geotech study, relating to the size of the retaining wall. So all of that, I'm gonna guess within, we still would need to do a design development. So probably within 4 months, we'll have better answers to that.
I just wanted that number because it helps us on the fundraising side, kind of like you and I talked about.
That's a good estimate.
Thank you.
About 4 months.
And thank you for all your hard
Ralph, you
work.
got something?
Just one other question. I just heard basically through grapevines, et cetera, that the county planning commission or planning department is kind of staffing up, meaning that they apparently are revitalizing their whole organization, and it's causing delays. Is that going to affect us or not?
Yes, it would affect us. It would affect us. That's why it's kind of a good thing that we are actually having good conversations with the building department. But once though all of the plans get submitted and it goes through the process, that's where it could take some time.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Right on, Ray. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, that takes us into the next item, which may or may not be Mr. Dienzo, is the East Ranch restroom. How are we on that? Carlos, is that you? And can we let Mr. Dienzo go back to his job?
I have answers for this
All
too.
right,
So-
good. Glad you're here.
So this one, this is in county review at the moment, and the due date for a county to get back with comments is May 20th. So I'm hoping that they'll respond to me by May 20th. There a couple of things could happen. They can say we need more time to review, or they have some responses for me that as far as the design goes that they need clarification on, or if there needs to be any kind of redesign for anything. So but May 20th is the planned due date for the county to get back with me with responses.
They could save some time by just approving it and letting it go.
I wish they would. Yeah, that
I mean, what's the controversy?
there's
Okay, that sounds smooth. Any questions for Ray on the bathroom project? Carlos, you comfortable with all that? Yes, I'll take that as a yes. Right on. Okay, that takes us up into the pursuit of bike trails. Is that correct? Right, Kermit's not here, so we're not going to get an update on that. And did we not? Am I looking at the right agenda all of a sudden? I guess I am. Well, is Mr. Weigel still here? Or did he leave us? I was just curious. We had a discussion that we were going to discuss future agenda or our goals with some direction from the CCSD board. Mr. Farmer, are you familiar with that? And are you still with us? Because I'd love to let you talk. No.
So Steve, the board did not get to that item
Gotcha.
in its last meeting, so it was moved to the May 12 meeting.
All right, we'll put it off too then. Perfect. Harry, how are you? It's great to see you.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I'm sorry that took a little while to get the video up. But John just beat me to it. So yeah, it's at this point, the board hasn't necessarily addressed. I seem to recall that when we do kind of allude to it, it's as much about maybe soccer and walking paths, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're not discussing it to the extent that you folks are.
All right, I'm good with that. Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Good, all right. That takes us into future agenda items. Does anybody have anything for the future that they would like to discuss?
I think we need to stick with what we have.
Yeah, right. We don't need any more goals.
I would like to see if we would meet in person. We're kind of zooming ourselves to death, but I'd prefer to meet in person. I think it
I don't. So we have two ideas there. I think we're much more efficient with Zoom, actually. We seem to get things done and it moves along. And when we're in person, it doesn't seem to move as much. I don't know. That's my personal opinion.
With Zoom, it's also for the public. We probably wouldn't get a very large audience for people to come. They obviously would like to get on Zoom and talk about it.
Yes, this would be a fun future agenda item, which we could record as such. I go both ways on it. I love meeting in person because I have way more fun. And I think I'm way more entertaining in person. But I would have to agree with Joyce. At certain times, I'm like, wow, that's way more efficient, right? I've attended meetings from the car. And so it's a different dynamic that I would be happy to have as a future agenda item. So we'll add that. Anybody got anything else they want to add?
Yeah, Steve, can I
Harry,
add
go ahead.
something? Yeah, you were just saying that you feel that you're way more entertaining in person. I don't think it's a qualifier there. You're just entertaining, Steve.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where or when.
Yeah, I look better in person. Oh, well, Kermit, how are you? Still muted. You're muted, Kermit.
You're muted.
Wish I had a big story, but I just forgot.
Oh, well, there you go. Do you
I'm
have
out
any, do
watering
you
the
have
weeds.
anything you want to add about the bikes?
About the bike trails, you mean?
Yeah, did you do anything this month?
No, we're getting together tomorrow afternoon, hopefully to fill out the application.
Okay,
Yeah, which we will send into for funding. We have theoretically somebody's got figures from a trail expert and somebody else has a name for the sponsor and whatever, and we're trying to put it together in tomorrow's meeting and get out by May 6th. So I will keep you informed. Other than that, we've had approval from North County Alliance Commission, Advisory Commission. Yeah, so we're proceeding on with them as recommenders for that.
Good idea.
And I don't know if I want to request that from pros or not, or do we want to, how would we announce this to the city, since we never really have done formally, other than here, or not to the city, but CCSD board. What should we be doing about that?
Joyce?
Yeah, what did NCAC approve, Kermit?
Okay.
What
What did they
did they
approve?
approve?
They approved the concept of a commuter bike trail,
Okay.
4,450 feet. I can send you the note that they sent to the person we're applying to, or for the slow cog, they call it, San Luis Obispo Council of Governments, who's going to administer the grant. They've sent an application or a recommendation that it be approved.
The application goes where?
Went to SLOCOG, SLOCOG, San
Okay.
Luis Obispo Council of Governments.
Okay.
And why don't I send you a copy of that? I'll send everyone a copy of
Yeah,
that.
that'd be great. Thanks.
And it was just approval in concept by them and recommendation for funding.
Yeah, that'd be great. Please send it.
So the only one that really doesn't know is probably the biggest entity that it would have jurisdiction over it, which is CCSD. The jurisdiction actually lies with the transportation, with the exception of what would go on Fiscal Union Ranch, if a small portion, which if any, depends how it's laid out. But it connects in that area. It connects to the Fiscal Union Trail, which is kind of a big deal. Goes on a county, from a county road to a Fiscal Union Ranch Trail. Would go under the bridge theoretically.
Man, that's good stuff, Kermit. If you can pull that off, that would just be extremely exciting.
Yeah,
You got a question? Go ahead.
So
Kermit, how are you applying for the grant? In other words, under what entity are you applying for the grant?
it's through SLOCOG. It's for community development, community betterment, under the concept of, or for apparently transportation funds, state.
No. I understand it's SLOCOG. I'm familiar with SLOCOG. How are you, under what name are you applying the grant? You're not a nonprofit, so.
CTA, what was I wrote it down. It's a bicycle. It is not a nonprofit. It's and the entity would be the transportation, from what I understand, or our sponsor, whoever shows up. I don't know. That's an interesting question. Well, one thing we'll stumble through tomorrow.
Well, I just don't know how they're gonna approve a grant without knowing.
Oh, it would not be funded by us. It would go straight to the transportation department, Caltrans.
Yeah, I'm very confused by this process. Kitty's gonna chime in because she's as
I don't
confused
know.
as I am.
Also confused. So Kermit, I know you're talking about we're talking about the bike trail that goes from Lodge Hill through the Caltrans land down to Santa Rosa Creek, right?
Correct.
And Caltrans thought that was hunky dory,
No.
right? They approved that. And is the grant going to be a grant to Caltrans then to construct the bike trail?
Well, it would be under the Community Betterment Act. And we'd be.
So that's the funder, but who would get the money?
Caltrans. They would also.
Okay, so Caltrans is going to apply for a grant.
Yes. No. We are going to get the money, and Caltrans is theoretically going to say, wow, that's great.
And who is we?
This is the Bike Alliance. I keep looking for our title, but I don't even know our group.
Are you being sponsored by another nonprofit? Is your group being?
The Cambria Trails Alliance. We have no nonprofit sponsors. We are going to do it. We are going to have a sponsor, yes. And it is probably going to be possibly the tourism board.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they don't like approve things.
I believe John can confirm this, but the CCSD is a nonprofit government organization.
But a lot of this project is on Caltrans land. It's not on CCSD land. Most of it's on Caltrans
That's true.
land.
Yeah.
Kitty, thank you for asking the same questions that are reeling through my brain right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well,
Let's just all be supportive and Kermit get shot down somewhere else, for God's sakes. Let's not
no,
shoot
but he
down
needs to
here.
have these things lined up in order to get the money to build the trail. We want the trail.
I'm with you.
It's got to be lined up.
I'm still very confused.
I think it's on the agenda next month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See what happens.
Good call.
I might come up with a piece of paper half filled out.
Hey, Kermit, you guys did go to the NCAC and they're on board.
all right.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, no, they're not?
Well, we have not gone to anybody yet. No.
Oh, okay.
The grant application is going to be our initial ride.
You did go to the North Coast Advisory Council and they wrote a letter of support.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
But
Kitty.
they have no funding. They're not a nonprofit.
Yeah.
They can't sponsor projects.
They're just.
They have no authority
advisory.
over anything.
We
Right.
have to
But I
show up-
love the idea of a bike trail.
We have to show up with a sponsor that will cover all those things in the background. So
Yeah.
it's a shot in the dark, but we're trying to get the application in. If we theoretically, Lynn has a sponsor possibly lined up. Lynn and Aaron. We'll
It's a
find
worthy
out.
project.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah. Julie or Adolph, go ahead.
Yeah, I understand that NCAC basically is kind of an advisory committee for the supervisors. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's our government connection then. Okay.
Well, we have talked to the Caltrans, or not, one of their employees that handles grants and so forth, and we're negotiating with them. They have not. They're eagerly waiting for the application.
Yeah, and the gentleman that does some of the Caltrans stuff at that level in this area is pretty supportive of trails and biking along the highway and trying to get things done. So I can see there being a positive push in that direction.
Well, they're actually always soliciting interested parties that would be, like in this community betterment grant. That is, it's a fairly loose approach, and it's interesting. They ask you, what do you suggest? What do you want? And we've responded. So essentially, that's what we're riding on is sort of this request for interested parties.
Yeah.
Now we'll see if it goes anywhere. But again, we are looking for a sponsor, and again, Lynn Aaron theoretically has a contact that is interested in sponsoring.
Julie, do you have any more? Your
As of
hands
now, I
up?
could not tell you who that is.
Julie?
Okay, thank you. I just want to emphasize, Steve, I completely love this idea. I just want to make sure that, I mean, Kermit, that I'm lost as to your entity. You said the Bike Alliance? That's the name,
Cambria Trails Alliance.
and they're not a nonprofit. And so you're trying to apply, I'm just recapping, you're trying to apply for a grant through who?
Through SlowCog.
Okay, and then that grant request is to be funded to Caltrans?
Yes. That's who, the entity that would have to construct and approve it.
I'm very curious to watch your progress, Kermit, and please know again, anything open recreation, you have my support. I feel like there's a lot of ambiguity in how things are being established right now, so.
Yeah, me too. It's, this is the grant. It has pretty loose parameters as to what it is. Describe improvement type, planning consistency, project name, sponsor, project benefit and performance, project readiness, that'll be a good one. And community engagement, sport benefits. So we have to lie through 3 pages to get to funding sources and pages, the actual cost estimate. And it explains what the SlowCog's Community Betterment and Grants Program is, and on and on and on. That's what we're going to do.
So just one question. Who actually provides the money?
SlowCog.
SlowCog, okay, so it's a county organization?
It's Community Betterment, Safe and Accessible Streets for All. Project funding request form. They're looking for projects.
Okay, so the county itself puts up the money.
I think through Caltrans. Yeah, I think it's a state transportation.
State, all right. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll look forward to putting that on the agenda next month.
We'll see what happens.
Good. Kermit, keep up the good work.
So
All right, any other questions of future agenda items? Seeing none, thanks for that little extra pop at the end there, Kermit. We're gonna call this meeting adjourned. Thank you. Kitty, appreciate it. Right on.
All right,
Thank
so
you,
do I.
Carlos.
Hmm.